listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler, the owner of KCCC 930 AM, the host of Community Forum today. My co-host is Hattie Quinn. How are you, Hattie?
I'm great, Johnny. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We're really honored, actually, today. We have Mayor Rick Lopez, the city of Carlsbad Mayor, with us. You're 3 years into a 4-year term, right?
Yes, sir. I'm starting on third year. Yes, sir.
Nice. So we're going to get into the topic of today is we really want to talk about affordable housing. It seems like the city as well as Eddy County are doing a tremendous amount for affordable housing. And I also want to talk about the new definition of affordable housing as well, right? So a lot of people think affordable housing, they think Section 8, they think we're giving free housing to poor people, and then where's my neighborhood going to go? General stereotype, I'm talking about Hattie. I'm not talking about everybody. Let's talk about stereotypes here for a second. I was like, I'm not trashing them. I'm just saying traditional stereotypes of what affordable housing was. So there's a new definition of that as well. But before we get into that, it's been 3 years. How's it been? It's
been awesome. It's a big learning curve. Let's be honest with that, coming into politics. But we have a great group working for the city. They provide so much for the citizens. It's just been awesome.
Right. You've made some changes, or you've had people rise up within leadership, I believe, right? So we have a city manager, Wendy Austin. Was she city manager before you?
No, she was the CFO for the city. So she promoted into the city manager's position. We unfroze a lot of positions, added positions. With a growing city, we have to have growing staff.
Right.
Working for the city. So that's one of the big things we did the first year.
So there was some, we didn't get into this. There were some discussions about a little bit, I'll say, turmoil in the police department at one point in history, recent history. And so how's everything going with that?
Well, we're getting our feet under us and we're moving forward. So there was some change in power there. We promoted a new police chief, and with that change, you figure out where you want to go. So in my opinion, we have to provide a safer community, give our community a safer place to live. Yeah. And you have to make changes, and some hard changes sometimes. And we're moving forward, we're growing, and we're better.
Well, I mean, no one's a stranger to that, by the way. We've recently had new leadership within the college system on a lower level, not the president's lower level. And sometimes new employees or new bosses don't mesh well with the current employees.
Right.
And sometimes an employee has to make a decision.
Yeah.
Right. Well, one of the big things for me is accountability. We promised that, and we're going to produce that.
Nice. All
the way. It doesn't matter which department. It doesn't matter where, from top to bottom, from Wendy all the way to the new hire. It doesn't matter. We're going to be held accountable. We're held to a higher standard, and we're going to do that.
All right. So you were fire chief for a long time. You pretty much knew everybody in the city already before
Correct.
You became mayor, right? So has there been anything since you've been mayor that has surprised you, been a heartwarming experience? There's obviously some disappointing stuff as well, but that happens. But is there anything that surprised you at being mayor as opposed to being fire chief?
Not really. The heartwarming part, the acceptance from the folks I work with. Yes, I was the fire chief, but I felt more of a partner. We worked together. I feel to be a good leader, you just have to work with your folks. It doesn't matter who we all have an important job to do. And if one person, irrelevant of where you sit on the spectrum, one person fails to do their job, it hurts the whole organization.
Absolutely.
So I do feel very welcome to be mayor of the city and with the staff that we have. And surprises, there's been some things that I didn't realize were there, but we took care of them.
All right.
And so that's what we do, right?
Excellent. We didn't prep you in time for this, but Hattie's been covering pretty extensively the whole stuff with Holtec down here.
Yes.
Right. I don't know if you're prepared to answer any questions related to that, but Hattie, I think you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Well, I was just curious because in July I did a big piece on the radio about it because it was obvious that the federal government is supportive of it and the state government is not, and they made it so that they just wouldn't be able to get the permits, right? And so I was really wondering what people were going to do. And I recently heard that Carlsbad had signed on to the lawsuit against the state to help alleviate that issue.
Yes. So on one hand, maybe the timing wasn't the best because we're going into a legislative session, funding for the area. I hope it doesn't hurt us. But at the end of the day, the state was wrong. And let's just be honest about that. WHIP has been a big benefit to us down here.
Oh, and the state of New Mexico.
And the state of New
to
Mexico.
The country in general.
Yeah,
Just for the record,
absolutely.
national security importance. The
Yeah.
only one in North America. Anyway.
Yes.
because
Sorry.
they shut down the Yuma bill.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was Harry Reid shut that down under Obama presidency, right? Yucca Mountain is what that was supposed to be. So I do think that being community members down here, we're all in agreement that we believe in the safety of nuclear storage, right? And we've always also believed in Holtec quite a bit. And I would hate to see the idea that other funding is affected by the idea of filing a lawsuit on something else, but we know how things operate.
We do, but at the same time, as we were saying, WHIP is so important to the nation.
Yeah, it is the only place.
And honestly, the livelihood of a lot of folks here, 14 to 1,500 jobs it provides for the area, good paying jobs.
We're going to have those until 2080 at least,
Yeah,
even without Holtec.
So with WHIP, and there have been a couple of hiccups, let's be honest. We had the release, we had the fire, okay, we're better because of it. And let's be honest, on the other side, the safety features that were put in place worked.
Yeah.
So that's where it is. So accidents do happen, few and far between, but that's why you have the safety measures put in place. So we know how to do this correctly. If anyone can do it, we can do it down here.
We have like the best ventilation system ever created at WHIP now, like kind of as a result of the release and how much better they can make everything. So you're right. I mean, safety is such a huge thing in our community, right? So real quick, sorry, what is the goal with our lawsuit with Holtec? Do we actually think that we'll be able to get the state to change their mind as a result of this, or have
that
a
is
judge
the goal.
Force them to change their mind?
Yes,
basically?
that is. They overstepped, and you can't just stand by and let that happen. Because what's going to be next? We don't even know what's going to be next. But what will they overstep next, and stop us from doing, which is a benefit to the country?
Even if the lawsuit is a loss, ultimately ends up being a loss on our side. It's the fight that matters. It's the fact that we're not going to put up with this necessarily.
We're not going to roll over and just let them make rules for us that don't make no sense, and they have no right to make that rule.
Well, if anybody, like, I've lived here for 4 years now, and I lived in Albuquerque for a long time. Like, there was a snowstorm that we just recently went through, right? And I was going to drive to Albuquerque during the snowstorm. So I go into the DOT website, nmroads.com, where you can check the status of the roads, and they have cameras for every part of the state, except when you get south of Vaughn. There's not a single camera down here for state highways. Not one camera in the entire thing. And then when you get to Roswell, they only pave one lane of the road. They don't
clear the rest.
Yeah, they don't clear the rest. They only clear one lane, don't clear the rest. If you ever wanted to feel like they don't care about you, just look at little things like that.
Yeah.
We do continually feel underserved, and that's why we were up there. Many of us elected officials were up there this week in Santa Fe, and we're going to make our name known, and we're going to make our presence known, and we're going to be there on a regular basis, face to face, talking about these issues. Yeah. I mean, we're not just going to give up. We're not going to just roll over like I mentioned earlier. We have to continue, and it's not always a fight. Most of the time it's a conversation.
Right,
we have to continue having those conversations, but when anyone oversteps, they have to be accountable for that.
Absolutely.
And so that is the goal, is to get that overturned, and so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. I mean, Eddy County has the second highest average income per residence in the entire state. The only county that beats Eddy County as far as like monthly income, yearly income, is Los Alamos County. Yeah. Because everybody works for the lab, right? You know what I mean? So that's like there's more PhDs per capita in Los Alamos County than there is any other county in the country. Yeah. Right. You know, so
but without WHIP, where would Los Alamos be?
No, yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Right?
So let's just be honest.
Los Alamos obviously had a lot of success, and they do a lot of things, but they had nowhere to go. I mean, the Llano lot is full of like drums of nuclear waste waiting to be put underground.
Exactly.
Like, they're all just sitting on parking lots.
Yeah, and the thing is with the system, like, they generate the waste, and right now they're only allowed to store it legally at the point of generation until it comes to us. There is no in between, and they are continuing to generate. Right. How much are they able to store there safely? The more and more they build up at the point of generation, the less safe it becomes.
Right, and when it comes to Llano, we take waste from other generator sites, of course.
Yeah,
Llano is always number one. When it's ready, it's shipped. I mean, it's a phone call, truck's there. I mean, it's ready. When they're ready, we take it. Right. Every time.
So let's keep on top of the lawsuit with Holtec.
Absolutely.
You know, Hattie and
I'll be following it.
Yeah, we really, I mean, obviously we want that victory. I mean, I interviewed the Holtec CEO, or not the CEO, but one of the project managers that was down here, and they talked about how safe the project was, of course. And then they also have the cool video. Have you seen the video of them? Like, it's like a rocket, like a missile on a rail car,
Mhm.
right? And they slam that into containers at a high speed that's holding the nuclear waste to show that nothing's going to happen. No
Nothing's
matter
going to
what you
happen.
do.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I think we're
really interesting.
on the whip side of things with the transport. I think there are over 18 million miles of safe travel.
Yeah.
You know, and they have the highest rating on their trucks of being. We were talking DOT earlier of the inspection. They don't have frayed seatbelts. I mean, they have the highest star rating of quality of what they're bringing, how they're moving that stuff. So we wouldn't expect anything less on the rail.
No,
Exactly.
I agree that I think the level of safety and care for all the communities that those whip trucks are going to be running through and where it's
Right.
going to be stored was always the top of mind from the very beginning, from the 80s all the way until
And it's
early
been
today.
proven. That's the important
agree.
piece. It's been proven that it can be done safely. So we would not want anything less via rail.
Right. And the release was Lanol, right? It was organic cat litter. It had nothing to do with anybody working at whip.
Exactly. It was an
Yeah.
oversight. And
The
so,
fire was the fire. But
yes.
Yeah.
So we've lessons learned
Yeah.
and we're better for it.
yeah, I love it. Let's
Thank you.
So this is a really great segue, by the way, or at least I can make one up. You know, WIP has 1,500 people. Our community is growing pretty well. The oil and gas industry is hard to even keep up with. And so one of the issues that we all know that we have in Carlsbad, I mean, we obviously have child care issues, and healthcare is pretty good here, actually. But the idea of housing, right? We just do not have enough housing.
Correct.
Rent's really expensive at houses. And if you own a house that you're renting, you're probably really happy right now, but you're getting an inflated rental price. Just know that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not going to last forever. It can't.
Right.
So affordable housing is really important. Let's talk about what the definition of affordable housing is for the city of Carlsbad and Eddy County on this endeavor.
That's a loaded question. So affordability depends on the person.
Sure.
Okay.
Where are you at? So, and there is so what we've done is we looked at this. So again, back to affordability is dependent on who you ask. You know what's your income, what's your family size, and all of that. So we looked at the market, and I have a team working on this. There's several of us. Kim Lacey from Department of Development has been with me through this. She wasn't able to make today. But we've been trying to answer that question. So it came apparent to me to talk to our realtors. What's available? What sells within minutes versus what we actually have available, right? And what can be done. So we set a price. We just shot a target out there and said, hey, let's just set this price and see if we can hit the target because it is not available. So what we come up with as a team was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, typical home that you could raise a family in. A good
two-car
starter.
garage.
One-car
garage?
garage or carport. We're still
Very
figuring
well,
that
yeah,
out because we got to get the number down.
Right.
And I said, let's build them and sell them for $220,000 because that's not available in the
That
market.
is not available here.
And the ones that do come available there, every realtor has a list of people that are in that range, and I'm telling you, they're sold within the day.
Oh no, they are.
Or they need a lot of work.
Oh,
at that
yes,
rate,
or they need a
right?
lot of work.
Yeah.
Or
So
both.
so they never really make the market. So watching the current real estate market, we're anywhere from 50 to 80 homes on the market. Realtors are telling me, because that's not my area of expertise, that we need to be closer to 280 to 300 to have a good market to where it's not all seller, it's not all buyer, just a good stable market to where there's folks have options. And it settles things down. So we set that price to see if we can hit that target. And so I spoke with many developers, many builders, and I have 3 builders. I've talked about 8 that say they can hit that number. Now we figure out how.
Yeah, right. You want 2 bathrooms guaranteed,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, but if you eliminate a 2-car garage, make it a 1-car garage. I personally love a carport, right? We don't,
Right.
even, I want to show off my fancy car when people drive by, I guess.
Right.
But I like a carport quite a bit. So you're right; those are ways that you can really lower the cost
Right.
of those
And
things.
you're right. You hit the nail on the head because now we're going to have a range. It's not going to be one exact floor plan done 100 times over, but we have to start with the target first. Can we hit it?
Right.
And if we can hit it, we can make adjustments. So maybe we don't need a 3-bedroom, maybe a 2-bedroom, 1-bath this year. So now we're back down to the 200, 180 range. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe you do want a 2-car garage. Maybe we're at the 230 range. But we have to have something we're shooting for to start the program.
Right.
And then we can make adjustments up and down as we see fit.
Most pre-planned neighborhood developments, especially would come with housing. Like my wife and I live off the Country Club Circle area, and even in that little area, there's stages of houses. Right,
Correct.
You've got like the higher end ones over here that are on a certain lot size, and then
Right.
you go into the second circle, and they're little smaller lots, 3-bedroom, 2-car garage houses, 2 bathrooms. And so you can live in that neighborhood at 2 or 3 different ranges.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we want to do. And at this 220 range, the first target, of course, I'm also looking for generational housing, meaning they have to be built to a certain quality.
Yeah.
We're not just going to throw them up to solve the problem. We want this has got to be long term. And if you look at our older neighborhoods, they weren't 2,400 square foot homes.
No.
And how many generations were raised there? 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah.
You made it work because that's what you could afford. And so, but they have to have the quality. So that's the big thing too. So when we talk about housing, there's so many layers to this that we've been working on over the last 2 years. So when I took office, the last administration, Mayor Janway and the council were looking at purchasing 500 acres from the BLM for housing.
Right.
But that's as far as the plan got, because obviously you have to have the land.
Yeah.
Right.
And so over the last 2 years, we've been working on, okay, then what when we own it? So I go to DC a couple times a year, at least once a year. I go to Santa Fe. Everybody's on board with this sale, but it just takes forever for that to happen. And with the new administration, with President, his administration coming in, it slowed some things down because they have to reprioritize. I understand that.
Yeah.
The government shutdown slowed everything down. So we're still, that's still going to happen. And that 500 acres north of town, so that is from Captain Williams Road, from Ocotillo School, all the way to George Shoup. So the 500 acres in there. It's not just going to be all houses.
Yeah.
There's going to be different, like you'd mentioned, there's going to be some market price housing, a little higher end that kind of butt up against Quail Hollow. There's going to be some more of the affordable. There's going to be multifamily. There's going to be townhomes. There's going to be some commercial.
Yeah.
There's going to be industrial on
commercial to serve that.
So
Exactly.
what's that name of the road they built off of Callaway? The new road that goes
Captain Williams.
Oh, that's the Captain. I
Yes.
never used to use the name of that new road,
Right.
right? But that's kind of like, in addition to that being a great way to go to Ocotillo instead of having to drive through the neighborhood,
Yes.
right? It's also, that's kind of going to be a main turn into the new neighborhood as well,
Correct.
right? Are
Correct.
we looking at a stop sign at that 3-way intersection eventually, or?
Well, I guess I want to share it with you. We'll since we're here, it's going to be a roundabout.
Right there at Callaway?
Roundabout
Dude.
at Callaway, right there at all the new construction.
I love that actually.
Well,
I'm a huge roundabout fan because when you go into Callaway, you go down that hill on either side when you go over right by the flume, right, and you pick up speed whether you want to or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
at that new intersection will be a roundabout because a 3-way stop, no. Let's just be honest, no.
Yeah.
So that's off the plate. But a stoplight, the traffic's going to come and go. No.
Right. It's only really, really busy a couple of times of the day.
Right. And I want it to be smooth. And folks that have researched roundabouts or done traffic studies, the roundabout is the smoothest way to move traffic, safest way to move traffic, and people don't get hung up.
Well, they just live. I mean, in Europe, they live with roundabouts. Everybody has a roundabout everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember the first time my wife and I went to Italy. I was still working for the city of Albuquerque. Right. I came back and I said, there are more stoplights in the city of Albuquerque than there is in the entire country of Italy.
Yeah.
Like the entire country, just in the city of Albuquerque alone.
Yeah, because roundabouts do move traffic the safest and fastest. So that'll be there. So that's the 500 acres, but it's taking a lot of time. So now what do we do in the meantime?
Right.
Because I don't like sitting on my thumbs and just waiting for something to happen.
Right.
So the schools had purchased 20 acres, and I think 20 acres were donated. So 40 acres over between Kircher, Rose, and Boyd.
Yeah.
To build a middle school. Then they changed their mind, and now they're building on Ferris and Old Calvert, which is great. Now, what do we do with that? Well, the school board did not want to get into housing. They felt the city probably should handle that, which is fine. So the city did purchase 20 acres there. The other 20 acres, we'll see how this works, and then we'll move on. We don't want to bite off more than we can chew. We got to be smart with our money, right?
Okay.
So in those 20 acres, we've sectioned out 10 acres. We have an RFP out for apartment complex, and that will be special. That's something that hasn't been done yet in Carlsbad. Those apartments will be on a sliding scale as far as where the rent is.
Okay.
So depending on where your income is, depending on your family size, that'll go from market price rent to a lower. And they have to, with the state and federal funding that they're getting for this program, they have to offer a certain percentage of those units in that sliding scale. So they can't just rent them all out at market price.
Right.
Whether the list is long or not doesn't matter. They have to hit those certain benchmarks, which that's why they're getting the state and federal funding with that. So that's out for RFP right now for someone to come in and build. The city will participate, but we're not going to own or operate that one.
Yeah.
But it will be something that's new to Carlsbad that'll be available and make it more affordable. And they have to do that for their funding.
Right.
So that's 10 acres. Now, the other 10 acres is the single family homes that we've been talking about.
How many homes are we looking at for that?
46 lots.
46 lots?
46 lots is the plan that I just looked at today.
Are those pretty large lots then?
50 by 100-ish.
Oh, okay.
Just depending on the layout.
Like I really have in my brain, like 10 acres feels like such a massive amount of land.
Right.
But when you start building houses and utility and,
And
roads and
roads,
stuff
yeah.
like everything,
Yeah.
it's way less.
So our like I said earlier, that we want to build generational housing. So I don't want to cut the lot so small that you can touch your neighbor's back fence from your back door. Like we don't want that.
Yeah.
We want families to be raised there. You need a yard
Yeah.
to have your families. Now we're looking at some more water friendly front yards, and we're looking at potentially moving the house over. So right now, a typical yard has a 30-foot front setback, 10-foot side setbacks, or 5-foot side setbacks, and then a 20-foot setback on the rear.
Yeah.
So something along them lines.
That's like the minimum requirement.
Yeah. So there's
right?
so we're adjusting that because folks buy toys. They like their jet skis. They're like
Gotta
their
have
side by
RV
side.
parking. Right.
RV. And we don't want that on the street.
Yeah.
So we're looking at potentially maybe doing a 0 setback where on one side of the house and a 10-foot setback on the other side.
Right. So right.
So
you have all the
everything's
toys
shifted
on
one way.
side. Yeah.
But nobody's house is wall to wall.
Right.
Right.
But it's not very large between one side of the two houses, but on the other side, you have your 10 feet where you're going to be
Exactly.
spending all your time and where all your toys
Exactly.
are going to be.
So we're trying to think long term, like I said, generational, to where you can buy the toy but get it in the backyard, so you're not trailers out front and and cluttering up the roads.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're looking at every option to make this really work and build this. So we partnered with the county. We went to the county and said, hey, help us build this housing. So they committed $4 million to the project for the infrastructure and get these pads ready to build these houses. Then here's the hard part. How do we build them at that price and sell them at that price? And that's difficult. So
And the developer needs a percentage of profit on the house that they built, right? I mean, there's going to be a minimum percentage or it's not worth their time.
Exactly.
And so I think when I was talking about affordable housing, I didn't mean to cut you off. We can get right back to it. When I talk about affordable housing, the affordable housing definition now has changed based on the market, right? Like affordable housing used to be $100,000, $150,000. So you need state and federal help to build houses at this level now because the market rate is just so much higher.
Right. So and you're right. And it costs more to build here.
Yeah.
Materials are more, labor's more, the availability is more. I mean, because let's be honest, if you have a trade that is sought after and you're buried in work, what do? You bid the next job a little higher and then you get it.
Yeah.
And then you bid the next job a little higher, then you get it. Well, eventually that becomes your price.
Yeah, the basement price. That
exactly.
This is the lowest we do.
Exactly. And it's tough. And I don't blame them. I'm not asking anyone to take less. When we talk about affordability, I can't expect a developer or builder to take a loss. That's just not what we're doing here.
Well, that's not how
that's not how it works. No, it's not. So how do we protect the builder, the developer, and the value? So that's the tricky part. So what we're doing is we're looking at, obviously the city has purchased the land, the city and the county is putting in the infrastructure. Now under Affordable Act for New Mexico, we can, under the right circumstance, give that away. Now we figure out how.
Give what away? The infrastructure?
Everything we've invested in.
Yeah, everything that you've built, right?
Yes.
Well, you own the streets and the utilities, even if they're built by a contractor, no matter what.
But the buildable pad with all the utilities hooked up.
Yeah.
So we're going to go out to an RFP once. Again, I got legal working on this. So we're going to go out to an RFP to have a company manage this.
Okay, so you're going to get all the houses to like a certain point.
We're going to get the land to a certain point.
Got it, yeah.
Then when I get a company in here to build, we're going to let them run with it under certain rules.
Yeah.
It's got to be affordable, and we'll set that number because there is ranges with income. There's ranges in what is it. So if you're making $300,000 a year, you're probably not going to fit in this range to buy one of these houses.
Yeah.
Because you make too much.
Oh, okay.
So you got to fit in a certain income range.
So that's why you need some organizations to manage all that.
Exactly.
So it's not some of the houses I'll be able to go in, and if it's $350,000, I can buy it. It's my house. But if I have to go through the process of being able to get the affordable designations, then all of a sudden you need somebody to manage all that.
Exactly.
Right.
So one of the key things here is owner occupied. So deep pockets are not going to come in, buy them all up and rent them.
Yeah.
We're not going to have companies buy them all up and rent them. That's not what this is about. This is about getting first time home buyers in, or someone that just wants an upgrade from where they're at, that there's nothing on the market.
Yeah.
So some of our longtime residents, that have an older house that just want something new, but they don't want to spend $400,000 or $500,000.
Especially as you get older, it's really nice to be in the newer homes.
Yeah,
because you can't do the handy
less
work
is gonna
anymore.
break and all that
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
So let's just, for numbers' sake, let's say the house was built at 220. The builders comes in and they build this house that we've talked about for a while now at the 220 mark. They can get that number, but it's going to be worth more than that because it's on land now. It's got all the infrastructure,
Yeah, right.
got all the streets. So let's say for easy math, it's worth 270.
Okay.
So we got a $50,000 window there, right?
Right.
So the intention at this point that we've been working on is we will let you get a note for the 220. Now the builder's paid off. It's done. We're square. Now we have that other 50. So one option is a $50,000 lien for X amount of years.
Okay. So
And so if you according to New Mexico Finance Authority, anything over 40,000 is a 15-year, anything 40 or under is a 10-year. And we don't have any financing from them at this point, no grant money or nothing. But I want to follow the rules. So if there is money available, we're already in that
Right,
set of rules to
That
where
makes
we're
sense.
following the rules. So I don't sell to one person at one set of rules and then another one at another set of rules. So we're trying to look at everything that's available and make our rules according to
well,
that.
so it seems like you're trying to prevent the easy flip.
Exactly.
Right? So
That is
somebody
definitely.
buys it and they turn around and that all of a sudden that affordable 220 house is now 270, and then the whole neighborhood turns into 273.
Well, not only that is you buy it for 220 and then 2 weeks later you sell it for 270. You just
Right.
made 50 grand. That's not going to happen. So this will be prorated. But if you live there 5, 10, 15 years, the full year, it's forgiven.
Yeah.
It's gone. Because by 15 years, we've brought a solution to the problem.
Right. So when, estimated timeline, do your best. Timelines are hard. First house being sold.
I hope this time next year because it's going to take us till mid-year to have all the infrastructure in.
Okay.
And that's mashing the gas fast. Like we're
Yeah.
working
Right.
hard. And then to get the builder in here and to start building because when they start building, it's like every other development that's going on. So you have the concrete or the plumbers coming in, prepping the lot,
Yeah.
and then they move from lot to lot to lot, and behind them comes in the concrete, and then behind them comes in. So whenever the first one's for sale, the next one will be ready to sell.
Yeah.
Right behind it. So
Man.
so it's gonna go fast once it gets going.
There's an opportunity for some contractors to make some pretty good money.
Yes, there is, and so that's kind of and here's the thing is for these contractors, we are asking them to sharpen their pencil, but we're also not putting this money in someone else's pocket.
Right.
I mean, that's the key here because if we were going to do that, then they might as well do it themselves. And so that's where the city gets involved. But we have to add a large volume of homes in that middle range to settle the market down, to have some choices and some options.
That would be really great.
And with our college, I'm sorry to cut you off,
No,
with our
that's
college
okay.
going into this trades and spending
Yep.
multi-millions, where are we going to put these folks when they graduate, when they go out and get their job?
Well, and we're going to need more people to go through the college system as
Exactly.
well,
So
right?
we have to help each other on this deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say, I moved here about 17 months ago. We were driving out every weekend to look at houses.
Mhm.
My realtor was kind to work on the weekends and show me things. And, when we looked at houses in that price point, those are manufactured homes here.
Mhm.
They're not
They're not actual
They're not
homes.
site
They're
built.
not houses. They're not, site-built houses. So I think that's phenomenal in its own right. But then, like, these neighborhoods are going up so quickly. But one of the things I feel like gets overlooked, and you haven't directly mentioned, is we're moving families into these areas. They're going to need like parks and playgrounds as part of this
Yes.
massive plan, this 10-acre neighborhood, and they're going to need groceries. Like
Yes.
how like are you planning for the builders plan? Do they have to build the parks into it? Because right now I live in a house, and this is my personal problem. I'm sorry, but right now I live in a housing development that has a promise of 3 parks,
Yes.
and they're literally trying to fund it off selling things out of this model home. How is that like that? You guys aren't going to do something like that. Like
No.
the parks are part of the plan.
Correct. So the way we've done here is we've been able to put as many houses as we can on this first 10. Our intentions are to move forward when this works, because it will, and to go back to the schools for the other 20. And
Okay.
we'll work a deal out with them. And then in that second phase, we'll add the parks. We'll add some more housing as we move forward. Yes. Now, as far as shopping and services.
Yeah.
So what I've done different, I guess, on my end of things in my position is working with the Department of Development, a couple of times a year they go to these trade shows where there's restaurants and there's gas stations, whatever, at these trade shows. And we're out there asking, talking, trying to get them to come visit Carlsbad to explain to them that we have a need for more. Yeah. And when I say more, plug in whatever you want, because
build us a third O'Reilly's or something.
Well,
whatever you got
to do. Already.
Exactly. So we need more. We need more retail. We need more restaurants. We need more.
Yeah.
You know, so we go and we talk to anyone that's listening, and we try to get them to come to Carlsbad.
Well, this is going to help, right? So, like, one of the things when you're talking about franchisees and these corporations that want to move in, like, why don't we have a Whataburger type situation stuff, right? There's these real. We've looked into that. My wife and I have.
That was my husband's question to ask the mayor. Why do where's our Whataburger?
Yeah, it'll be here in November.
Seriously? For sure? 100%?
It's coming.
All right.
Yes, it's on the way.
I know there's a franchisee there, so I'm excited about that for sure.
Yeah.
But like the idea is there's such a criteria for these corporations to move in. It's like median income versus population. We way surpass the median income typically, but we don't have like the density of population necessarily. Right. So the idea that we're building this many houses, we have 500 acres, we're building more houses. Hopefully we can get those things in before that population shows up. But once the population shows up, hopefully together. But the additional population will help those things. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Without one, you're not getting the other. You know?
Right.
So
but we have to investigate them both. And that's what we're doing. We're not only just trying to deal with the housing, which is a big problem, big issue, a lot of work. But now the restaurants, the retail, I'm constantly in meetings trying to figure out how do we do things different to get more here?
Yeah.
How do we tell our story? Because if you just pull us up, look at the numbers, look at the census, all that, you get discouraged. Yep. But, we're inviting them to spend the weekend with us. Come down here, let us show you. Let's show you the traffic. Yeah. Pick a day. It doesn't matter. Yeah. We'll take drone footage. We'll show the traffic, what it was 5 years ago and what it is today.
We show water use rates, sewage rates. All those things tell a very different story than the census.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I feel this is my job as mayor to go and talk to them. And I go to them and I tell them, I need another supermarket on the south side of town. Yeah. I need this. This is what we need in this town. Mm-hmm. And we'll take whatever we can get. I mean, because once they get here, they're going to see. They're going to see every company that's opened up here, Seven Brews, HTO, Wingstop. They broke records of what their franchises normally do when they come to Carlsbad, and it's sustained after 3 months. Yeah, the new wears off.
Yeah,
but it's still doing. I
mean,
well.
Joe's
3 O'Reillys, 3 McDonald's.
Joe's Italian, right?
Joe's Italian.
You can't even drive by that place without
it's always been
just packed.
And it's
the demand is there.
The demand is there, and that's what I share. And then some of them will say, because a lot of these food chains, their trucks have a certain route.
Yeah.
So if they don't come through here, they can't service. And they say, well, we can't build one, we can't service. So then build me 3. Because
then it'll be worth servicing.
Then it'll be worth servicing. But we have that much of a need. I truly feel we have that much of a need.
Okay. Well, Mayor Lopez, we're just about done. We're technically out of time. We're going to extend it a little bit more. But Hattie, I wanted you, any last questions or anything that we didn't get to?
Oh, all right. So I have a student who's working on a podcasting student who's working on a spotlight about the Dutch disease, which is not Dutch elm disease, but it's about economics. So what happened is that they struck oil off their coast. Sounding familiar. Mm-hmm. And they had this huge economic influence that basically destroyed their whole economy ultimately because they weren't prepared for that kind of influx of funds. And here we are sitting booming. And I can't help but wonder, like, what are we doing to make sure that doesn't happen here?
Are you meaning when it settles down? And now we're not used to that?
Yeah, how are we planning for the future for when it does settle down? But also, how do we deal with the fact, like, okay, it's a workforce problem too, because, like, young kids can go make lots of money in the oil fields, so they don't want to work at the grocery store and they don't want to work at the fast food places where we need more people. And, I know this is a whole, like, how do you do the whole balance thing? But, like, they ended up, like, outpricing themselves, so, like, then they couldn't, like, sustain. Right. And so I'm just wondering, like, how you guys are thinking about that.
So I hope I can answer that question. What I'm trying to do is diversify. Try to find other industries, whether it's recycling, whether it's data centers, whether it's construction, whether it's manufacturing. We're constantly looking for more. What can we do that may be the same as someone else or different? Right. I'm okay with different too sometimes. Yeah. So we're constantly out looking. Do we get a shingle manufacturing company here? Do we get what do we do? What's out there that can do us good here? Maybe we build carbon fiber product. I mean, there's constantly, so who is going to invest and how do we get them here?
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is trying to find that next industry and how do we be a part of it? And it may be multiple ones. You know, on the recycling front, I've looked at recycling wind turbine blades and use that as a product. Not make it smaller to dispose, use it. What are we going to do with these solar panels?
Right.
How do we recycle them? What's available to do? What is the technology telling us? What are the students telling us that we can use it for? So those are the things that I'm looking into, is trying to find that next industry that we can diversify into. And it may be multiple ones because it's a pretty large workforce that you're talking about. But what do we look for? I'm looking at turning over every rock that I can find and listening to what could be an option for our area.
Awesome.
All right. Pro-growth, is that what you'd say?
All growth.
All right.
All growth. We have to harness the growth. It's coming. It's here.
Right.
We can't keep pushing it away.
No.
Let's grow the way we want to grow.
Nice. All right. Well, let's end it on that. Hattie Quinn, thank you for co-hosting with me.
Thank you, Johnny.
Mayor Rick Lopez, thanks for coming on, sir.
Thank you for
Mayor.
having me.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.